Hey guys, it's Ryan from The Dad Show. Before we get into today's episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsor. Have you been looking for a way to get on the water for some family fun? If so, please go visit my friends at Blue Springs Boat Company located in Kingston, Tennessee. Family owned and operated since 1988, Blue Springs Boat Company is the largest authorized Bennington and Regal dealership serving the East Tennessee area. They offer new and used boats, have a full parts department, and a certified service department on hand to help you with all your boating needs. They're proud to be your family's boat dealer. Let Blue Springs Boat Company help you find the right boat for you and your family. Visit them online at www.bluespringsboats.com or call 865-376-1472. Now, let's get to the podcast.
Welcome to the Dad Show Podcast, a show all about impacting, empowering, inspiring, and uplifting information to become a better dad, husband, man, and mentor. And now, your host, Ryan Ladd.
Welcome back to the Dad Show, everybody. I want to thank you for listening and for watching. Christmas is just in a few days, so Merry Christmas from the Dad Show. I'd like to ask that you would follow us on all social media at The Dad Show Podcast, as well as on our website at www.thedadshowpodcast.com. So since it's Christmas, we're going to talk about the best gift that you can give yourself, your spouse, and your children. Let's jump right in. The best and most important gift you can give this season is to grow and deepen your relationship with God, with yourself, with your spouse, and with your children. There is science-backed data that says it takes 21 times of doing something or 21 days of doing something to form a habit. So that is 3 short weeks, that's 21 days that I want you to try these few things that we're going to talk about today. That is 3 short weeks to change your whole life. And if it doesn't, you really haven't lost much time. It's just 3 weeks. But, you know, if you'll give 5 minutes to a TV show, if you'll give, many episodes to on Netflix and all that nature, you can devote 3 short weeks, these small and easy things. They don't even take much time. They don't take much effort. But if you will do these things for 21 days, just try them, and give yourself that time, you can change your whole life. And like I said, it's 3 short weeks, so you haven't really lost anything, but the potential gain is endless. So here we go. Number 1, spend time in prayer. Spend time in prayer by yourself, whether it's before going to bed, waking up in the morning, over food, just anytime. Spend time in prayer, and don't just pray for things that you want or you want to see happen or you want to see changes in your life. Pray for other people. Whenever you pray for other people, it opens so many doors. It opens up your mind to see how blessed you really are, and how small and minute some of the stuff that you may be praying for in other ways, or that you may be wanting in other ways, really isn't big on a scale and putting into perspective of life. So be sure whenever you pray to pray for other people, and whenever you pray for them, don't just say I want to pray for such and such. Try to pray for specific things, like if Miss Daisy is in the hospital having leg surgery, be sure to pray for those specific things, that she's in the hospital and that she doesn't catch any more viruses while she's in the hospital, or that God will guide that doctor's hands, that surgeon's hands, the nurses that are giving the medications, the anesthesiologists that, are giving the sedatives, just those things. Try to pray for specific stuff, not just a generalization of, I want to pray for Miss Daisy. Try to think of specific things. And like I said, that will open your mind to other stuff to see how blessed you are. But, not only that, whenever, you put it in the same perspective as giving, whenever you receive a gift, yeah, that's good. It brings joy to you. But whenever you give a gift, you have joy in the giving, and the receiver has joy in opening. And then whatever that gift may be, it may be a gift for many others. So you've helped many people. not just yourself. So spend time in prayer with God and growing your relationship with him first, you and him, just talking. God doesn't want big words to be used, these big extravagant things. And it could be 30 seconds of prayer versus, 20 to 30 minutes of prayer. God, he doesn't care. He just wants you to talk to him and grow your relationship with him. This next one is a pretty big one. So it's kind of hard to start doing, but once you get to doing it, it should grow and should become a lot easier. So pray with your wife. It doesn't actually have to be out loud. You could be on one side of the bed praying. She could be on the other side of the bed praying. You could be on one side of the room praying. She could be on the other side of the room praying. You could be sitting next to each other. You could be holding hands. You can say a silent prayer in your head. But just having your spouse right there next to you brings just a whole nother meaning. Even if you're, like I said, even if you're not saying it out loud, just the power of you two being together brings a whole nother world into your prayer life. So, and then whenever you can start praying out loud, that will open it up even more and grow your relationship, I'm telling you. And that will bring so much more power to your prayer life, especially with your wife there. So like I said, you don't even have to be praying out loud. You can just wrap your arm around her. You can be on the other side of the room of her, whatever the case may be. Or, she may not be open to it. She may not want to pray with you. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. Don't cause an argument. Just whenever you go into your prayer time, pray for her, pray for your marriage, pray for your kids. Just pray that eventually you two can grow your relationship with your prayer life together. So I'm not saying that me and my wife pray together every night or that we have been doing it forever. When Kennedy was diagnosed with her disease of MPS 1 Hurler Syndrome, we were devastated and didn't know what to do, didn't know where to turn, didn't know anything basically. So we were lost. We had nobody really to turn to. It's a rare disease, so there's not many people out there with a whole lot of information or knowledge or experience with it. And so one of the main things that we could do was just pray. And we decided to put everything in God's hands. And, if you've heard my earlier podcast, one of my friend's moms who was passing away of cancer in the hospital sent us a note with the Bible verse of Matthew 17:20. And it says, faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. So we were just putting our full faith and everything into God and knowing that he could bring us through it no matter what. And so whenever we would lay our daughter down at night, she was 9 to 10 months of age at the time whenever she was diagnosed. So we would lay her down in her crib at night, and then me and my wife would hold each other and we would pray with each other right there, just over our daughter, just praying God's blessing and healing, however that may be, here on earth or in heaven. His will be done, just that he comfort us, he gives us strength and helps clear our minds to make the best decisions that we possibly could for our daughter. And at that time of just praying with my wife and going through what we were with our daughter, it brought our relationship so much closer. And, like I said, we weren't perfect. We still failed each other. And, but that time together made us realize how strong our relationship could be. And a lot of the smaller stuff that gets into a lot of relationships, a lot of the petty stuff, we kind of learn to put that stuff to the side, and it's like not worth fighting over by any means. And let's focus on the bigger and better things that I'm not going to say are worth fighting over, but are worth fighting for to get the devil out of our relationship so that we can continue to grow deeper and stronger together. Another thing is to date your wife. Start by setting out one night a month, even maybe just a couple hours a month. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It doesn't have to be a whole extravagant, strung out, big plan thing. You can, if somebody's watching the kids, you can just sit on the couch and watch a movie or watch a show or just talk. Or you can, go to a local burger joint and grab a couple of burgers, and you can You can drive and overlook the city from a mountain, or, go sit out on a dock by the lake, or anything. Just spend time with your wife. Like I said, you can start out just by a couple of hours a month, and then maybe it'll turn into a night, and then maybe you can do a couple of nights a month. But we make time for so much stuff other than our relationship with our wife, or our relationship with our kids, or our relationship with God. And I'm very guilty of all this too. I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means. So whenever I'm giving you this advice, I'm taking it myself, because it's just stuff that I have thought of and tried with my wife, and it's worked, and we're still trying to grow a lot of these things. I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect by any means. So, but just take the time and be together and talk and communicate. Another thing you can do is to just show affection. And I'm talking about simple stuff, really simple. I'm not talking about full-on public, PDA type stuff. Just when you walk by her in the house, just kind of, do a little quick rub on her arm, or, she's walking by you, just a little rub on her back, or, just something to say. It doesn't even have to be a sexual type touch, just something to say, hey, I'm here, I'm with you. Like if you're riding in the car, reach over and grab her hand and hold her hand. Or, if you're standing by her in church, or you're standing by her waiting in line, you can scratch her back. You can do something that is not sexual, that she's going to be, golly, I don't want this to happen again. No, it's just a simple, small gesture to say, I'm here, I'm by your side for anything and everything that you need, and I'm not going anywhere. Something else that I really try to do, no matter what time of day it is, whether my wife just woke up and, she has been asleep all night, and she's got, her hair's crazy from sleeping, or she just got ready and dressed for us to go out to dinner, or she's been, washing dishes and taking care of the kids all day, or whatever the case may be. No matter what, whenever I see her, or just at random times, I try to tell her, you're so gorgeous. You're so beautiful. I'm so lucky. And that, I think I may have said it in another podcast, that, you're building her confidence from your perspective with her, but you're also building your belief system. So if I constantly tell my wife, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, I'm repeating that and believing that in my head, that she is gorgeous, that she is beautiful, and I'm so lucky to have her no matter what. So whenever I go out into public and a beautiful woman walks by, yeah, I may notice that, that's a pretty woman, or whatever the case may be, but that I have a beautiful wife. I'm very lucky to have her, and the grass is not greener on the other side, that I do have the perfect marriage, and that me and my wife are strong together, and nothing's going to break that. So you're teaching yourself your own belief system, and building that confidence not only in your wife from your perspective of what you see of her, but you're also building the confidence and the belief system in yourself about your wife and the way that you feel about her. So, this stuff doesn't go without work. It takes work. It takes you mentally thinking these small things to do it. A lot of people may not be affectionate. A lot of people may not be complimentary. A lot of people may not be outspoken. But, if you do these small things, and you work on these small things, and you mentally try to do them, like I said, it's 21 days. Try to do it for 21 days. And I promise that this will change your relationship. It'll change your life. So we've talked about your wife and your spouse, and how you can build that relationship. Let's dig in a little bit deeper on the kids side of it. So, you need to spend time with your kids, and I am so guilty of this and these things, and I try my hardest, but I truly believe that this thing right here is 100% the devil. It truly is. I mean, you pick it up to look at the weather. You pick it up to look at Facebook. You pick it up to look at Instagram, email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You pick up your phone to look at everything, no matter what the case may be. Even if Kennedy or Lincoln are sitting there tugging on my leg, tugging on my shirt, Daddy, Daddy, I need you, Daddy, Daddy. I've got to look this up. I've got to respond to this email. I've got to talk to this person. Hang on, I'm looking this up. So one of the main things is just spend time with your kids without your phone. Put your phone down. It may not be the phone. You may be the TV, or somebody else in the room, just another adult that you're having great conversation with. And there is times for that. And the kids need to realize that, and they need to go and play and do stuff. But I'm just specifically talking about just devoting your whole your attention, your everything to them. And it may be, the attention span of a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old, it's not very long. And so, I'm just talking about 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour that you're going to play a game with them, or you're just going to sit and hang out with them and ask them how their day is. Or, you go out in the swing set and you push them in the swing, or maybe you do sit down and you watch a show with them. Just that time, just to be with them and grow that relationship means the absolute world to them. And that's all they want. Another thing that I try to do, I don't always get to put Lincoln to bed because he's a big mama's boy and Kennedy's a big daddy's girl. So most of the time I'm sleeping with Kennedy and helping her to go to sleep. And so one of the main things we do is she's got a little, we call it our Bible book, but it's stories of the Bible. And so we go through it, and it's a little 20 or 30 second reading about that. And then every night we try to pray together, and I let her pray out loud. So then I just hold her hand and I'm there with her just to bring that extra power into that whole prayer time is both of us together. And she knows, she feels secure that I'm there with her. And oh man, it's just so beautiful to hear her go into prayer with God and asking to help all these other people. And she loves praying for other people whenever she gets done. Even though I've heard her pray, she tells me who she's prayed for and what she's prayed for. And it just brings a big smile on her face, and she loves it, and she loves that time. So, when your kids go to bed, just love on them and pray with them and teach them about God, and just be their rock, be their solid foundation that they can lean on no matter what. And when they're going to bed, just smile, be positive, don't raise your voices. I know it's so easy to do, and I like I said, every one of these things I'm very guilty of, and that's where I realize my mistakes, and so that's why I'm trying to pass these things along, that I still fail at them all the time, but hopefully, like the meaning of this podcast, we're going to tell our failures. We're going to put our mistakes out there, and then hopefully all of us can grow together through this whole thing and through all these aspects of being a better dad and a husband and a man and a mentor and just a man of God. So, but speak that positivity to them every night and smile and just be happy, and don't raise your voice. Keep your voice at a steady tone for night, because just think about it. Like, if your wife or a buddy, or, when you were younger, if your parents, got mad at you or were yelling at you to go to bed, then how did you sleep? You slept, you may not know it, but you probably slept terrible and wasn't going into bed. You wasn't going into sleep in a good mood. And then, most of the time, and I'm terrible about waking up in the morning too, but most of the time you're yelling at your kids to get up, hey, we got to hurry. Come on, jump in the shower, get your teeth brushed, get dressed. Let's go. We're late. Like, come on now, let's go. And so you're yelling at them before they go to sleep. You're yelling at them when they first wake up. All you're doing is setting them up for failure for that day. And so more than likely, they're going to fail that day at something. They may succeed at a lot, but they're going to fail at something. So more than likely, whenever you find out that failure of the day, they're going to come home and you're probably going to yell at them about that failure of the day. And then it's just a vicious cycle that keeps. So they can't really have a great day if you're yelling at them before they go to bed, you're yelling at them when they wake up, you're yelling at them when they come back home from school. So like I said, just that positivity, the happiness, the not raising your voice whenever they go to bed, like when God speaks to you, he may speak to you through thoughts, or, you may hear a small voice, but you never hear God yelling at you, screaming at you. And so if you did, it would probably startle you, and you probably wouldn't know how to take it. And, it just goes like everything else. Like if you go to work and you screw up, do you want your boss yelling at you? Or do you want to be like, hey, Ryan, you screwed up. Here's your constructive criticism. This is what you can do to fix it. This is how we're going to get better. And we're going to move on from this. Or, would you rather them just yell at you and be mean? And, it just sets up the stage for failure in those aspects. So like I said, in that whole thing, just spend time with your kids. Throw away the phone, throw away the remote, take your attention away from anything else, and devote it 110% to your kids and be with them and speak positivity to them throughout the day, and especially at night. Smile and be happy, especially at night and when they're waking up, and take that time and just pray with them and grow your relationship deeper with God with them. And our world today is such a microwave mentality type world that we don't want to wait on it. We don't want to work for it. We don't want to be patient. We want it, and we want it now, no matter what it is. You think about Amazon has same day, next day, 2-day shipping. We got obviously microwaves. We got cell phones at our fingertips. We've got faster cars. We've got faster ways to do things, and everything. People want to take the shortcut and want it this way, no matter what it takes. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get it now. And I truly believe that's why divorce is at an all-time high, because, a couple, they may be having some problems. They may not be. They may be perfectly happy, but they get married, or they think that whenever they get married, it's going to be just this complete fairy tale, that it doesn't take work. Or maybe you are happy in your marriage and you think that having kids is going to make it even better, that it's going to be just this easy road. It's going to be so great, and there's not going to be any hiccups or bumps or anything. And I think that's why divorce, in my perspective, is such at an all-time high. For one, it's easy to do, but number two, people just give up. Like, they don't want to work for it. They don't want to put in the effort. So that's why I go back to the whole aspect of start with yourself in daily prayer for yourself and your wife and your kids. Grow your relationship first, because until you're truly happy with yourself, you can't be happy and confident with your wife. You can't be happy and confident with your kids. You can't be happy and confident with other family members or friends or coworkers or complete strangers or anybody. You have to work on your relationship with yourself first, and you have to be confident and happy in yourself before anything else can happen. And it definitely takes a lot of work to do this with yourself, to become happy and love yourself and be confident. And it takes a whole lot of work once you are set in that aspect and that mentality. It takes a lot more work to become happy and confident with all your other relationships, including your spouse, your children, acquaintances, and family members, and everything of that nature. And this doesn't take just a day, an hour, a week, a month, a year. It's an ever-changing. I mean, we're human beings. Think about how many times we change our minds. Think about how many times, you're going this direction, you decide to go this direction, or you want this, or this is what you are trying to achieve. And, how many times you change your own mind, and, and then you bring a wife and you bring kids in this whole aspect. And so you've got all these different personalities trying to do different things. And so you have to adapt. You have to constantly work on all those relationships. It's not just, oh, I got this one down, we're good. No, it's going to change. I promise you it's going to change. So just like I said, we're human beings, we're ever changing, and you have to work on it constantly. And one of the main things that will help you work on these every day is to communicate. Communicate with yourself, communicate with your wife, communicate with your kids. And one of the main things to do is communicate goals, what your wants are, what your wife's wants, what your kids wants, what your family goals. You know, I read a quote, I can't remember who said it or where it was from, what book it was out of, but basically the gist of the story was that if you shoot for the stars and you hit the clouds, you've done pretty good. You've done all right. But if you shoot for nothing, you're going to hit it absolutely every single time. So communicate with your wife, communicate with your kids, communicate with yourself, communicate with God. Lay those goals out there. Come up with these together, not just what Ryan wants or what Allie wants, or, you know, come up with them together. Have some personal goals as well. So my goal for you guys is for the next 21 days, 3 weeks, try these things. Some of them are harder than others. They seem, whenever you're talking about them, very simple, but they are hard to do. They're hard to keep up with and to constantly do them. But I hope that this gives you a little bit of help. And, you know, from my experience, and like I said, I still fail at these things. I don't do them every single day, and I don't keep up with them and keep doing them like I should. Some of them I fall off and I'll pick back up, but I try to do them. And my experience with them is that whenever I do them, and I do them constantly, and I'm diligent about it, that it does help my relationship with my kids, with my wife, with myself, with God. And it just builds those deeper. And you've got other family, you've got other friends. But if you have a strong relationship with God, you have a strong relationship with your wife, and you have a strong relationship with your kids, you have the core of your life taken care of. And so other relationships will become easier and be better and be deeper, because you're going to be happier with yourself, you're going to be happier in your marriage, and you're going to be happier with your kids. I hope that this stuff helps you, and I'm constantly going to try them. So, you know, let me know on social media at the Dad Show Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You know, let me know how this is going for you, if it's helping, if it's not helping, or you have some extra pointers or tips for me on stuff that I can do to try and make my relationships better as well. Just let me know, and I hope that this helps, and I hope that you and your family have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week. I want to thank you again for listening, for watching, and for being here. God bless you. I love you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening to the Dad Show Podcast. Please like, review, and subscribe.